The goals are actually there and over there. This right here, this circular paving, is indeed where the centre circle was. Right then guys, we're back once again with another video. You love these and I love filming them, but I've picked the most windiest of days to do this. I hope you can hear me okay. We're obviously outside what we know as the Rico, which is now the Coventry Building Society Arena. It's home, of course, to Coventry City Football Club, and in a moment we're going to take a look at where Highfield Road, their old ground, now, well, has always stood, but what it looks like now in 2024. Coventry City have been here at the Rico since 2005. Now this site was initially, it was always supposed to be Coventry's new ground, but it was originally going to be a little bit bigger, as it was possibly going to be one of the grounds as part of England's bid to host the 2006 World Cup, the one which ended up being at Germany. Now, if England were successful, the World Cup would have took place, obviously in England if they were successful, but matches would have took place right here in which was the Rico originally. Obviously they didn't win that bid. The capacity was scaled down a little bit, but Coventry City of course moved here anyway. They've been here since 2005, kind of. Every season since, apart from, I believe, was it the 2013-14 when there was some disputes over possible rent, and they ended up playing at Northampton's ground for just over a year. Let's go and have a quick look around the Rico, and then we'll head over to see what Highfield Road's like in 2024. Let's go. Jesus Christ, the wind is almost taking me away, but this is probably an example of a football ground that your dad doesn't like. People over a certain age, well even me, I really don't like the generic bowl that a lot of football clubs adopt for their new stadiums. I think new grounds often lack a bit of personality, and obviously they lack the history that was built in the old ground. I think a lot of Coventry fans would probably agree that at the time it was necessary to move in order to progress the club, but I'm sure there's a lot more Coventry fans watching this who miss Highfield Road. It's not a bad looking stadium. Again, doesn't necessarily look too much different from a lot of the modern stadiums that were built in the noughties. I think as it's so close, guys, let's go and check out the Coventry shop. Let's go. Yeah, got to give it to Coventry. That shop is really good. Massive shop for, I say for a championship club, but I think Coventry were in the top flight of English football for, like 25-ish years. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, guys. So when clubs move, we often think it's just to get a brand new swanky stadium, but probably one of the more important reasons, or the many important reasons, are to do with stuff like access to the ground. As you can see right here, you've got a train line, I believe, or a train line, I think. Behind that, in the distance, you can see a retail park. There's Currys, there's Tesco, all kinds of shops, loads of parking. Now, I think parking was an issue with Highfield Road. That was one of the reasons they did move. Ticket office over there, by the way. And also, you probably can't hear me too well because of the busy noises, not just from the wind, but from the cars as well. Really good links, straight off, I believe, the M6. It was pure motorway coming from Cheltenham to this ground. So obviously, access was really good. When you've got to get like 20-30,000 fans out of a building, out of a football stadium, it's obviously a lot easier to do so in one of these new swanky stadiums. We often say that they do lack a bit of personality. I mean, Coventry are trying. You've got the branding. You've got. I really like Coventry's badge, by the way. I've always liked Coventry's badge. But I mean, the stands, they're called like the East Stand, West Stand. They've not really got much personality. But obviously, it is a multi-use facility. You've got the other arena thing next to it. And we mentioned that when we went to West Ham's London Stadium. Again, a lot of West Ham fans were unhappy about the move. Some understood that in order for the club to progress, they had to move. So Coventry City fans, before we get over to Highfield Road, let me know in the comments below, were you happy about the move? Or were you unhappy but felt like the club needed to do it? It's something that had to happen. Or are you just downright peed off and want to get back to where Highfield Road was? Randomly, guys, you've got a job centre in here as well, so unless you guys like the video, start sharing my videos and I can kind of increase the revenue on them, I might have to get myself a real job. I'm only joking, I'm a milkman. That's how I get the hours to do these videos. Let's get out of this absolute horrific windy gale. Jesus Christ, I'm going to go over in a moment. And let's go over to Highfield Road. Let's go. So guys, I am on what is officially still Highfield Road, and this is just standard looking terraced housing as you'd see in and around most old school football grounds. But this isn't actually where the stadium was, where the ground was. It led to what was the ground over here, behind these buildings here. I believe that's the way into it now, but was that the original way in? Let's go and have a look. So then guys, what's now known as just Signet Square was once a thriving football ground. Down here, down this road, was Highfield Road, the former home of Coventry City. Let's go and check it out. It's obviously now just housing. It was bought up by Wimpey, George Wimpey Company, the Wimpey who build new houses. As you can tell, you've got the rather generic looking, orangey, creamy looking buildings that are kind of signature, cheap new build houses. I don't mean to upset anyone that might live here. I'm sure they're nice. I'm just a bit annoyed that another historic football ground has gone. We know that they had to move. We know that. Well, we think they know. We think they had to move due to kind of parking issues and the fact that they wanted to go for the 2006 World Cup. But at least, unlike Upton Park, the Boleyn ground, they've kept a little nod to a former great stadium. Apparently there's a plaque over here somewhere. There was rumour that it did get stolen. Whether they put another one down, I don't know. What we're going to do, we're going to head over now onto what was the pitch. They wanted to retain that as a grassy area because they wanted to continue the people, the kids of Coventry, playing football on that grass. Let's go and have a look.
And a goal for the man from Bulawayo. This is Peter Unlove. Great balance, scoring well on his left foot.
It's mad to think that in 2005, Coventry beat Derby right here on this pitch. They won 6-2 in the final game here at Highfield Road. Following on from that game, Elton John had a concert here. Now, I can't actually see, I've seen pictures of a mural, I'm not sure how to say it, but I can't see one. But obviously you can kind of get a little idea as to where the stands were. Again, when I come to these football grounds and do these tours, I'm coming to learn, I'm exploring, I'm someone who knows very little about Coventry City, the football club. Now obviously Coventry fans are going to watch this, so I need you guys to help me out, as you did with the Norwich video, the West Ham video. What was this stand over here? What was the name of this stand behind me? What was the name of this stand? The way in over there, what was the name of that stand? And obviously what was the name of this stand over here? It's a little bit dodgy because there's a kids area over there, and I think kids are coming out from school and it's getting a little bit dark, but I'm going to persist. So for me, being born in '89, obviously I grew up in the Premier League era and I knew Coventry growing up playing right here at Highfield Road, and players that come to mind, Peter Unlove, Dion Dublin, And probably my second favourite 90s goalkeeper of the lot, Steve Ogrizovic. They just don't make them like Steve Ogrizovic anymore. We did a Norwich Carrow Road tour. We looked at the Nest, which was Norwich's old ground, with the help of Gaz, who's a big Norwich fan. His favourite Norwich player of all time was Darren Huckabee. Now, right here on this pitch, do you remember when Darren Huckabee took on everyone and scored that beautiful goal in that lovely stripy Coventry strip? He did it right here. I'm not sure what end. I guess there was it this way or that way? I'm not actually sure. Again, Coventry City fans, let me know. Let's go and have a little wander around and see if we can find any little nods to Coventry. So if you can visualise pre-2005, you've got the setting of most football grounds within that era and the previous 100 years, the terraced housing in the distance. Fans would walk through the terraced housing to come to watch Coventry. The helpful guy in the distance, you probably can't see him in the blue. I thought I'd try my luck and ask, are you a Coventry fan? Do you know much about football? Luckily he was. He said indeed the little plaque thing did get stolen, but there's a brick thing over there where it was, and that brick thing that it sat on is the old centre spot. There's a little circle around it, so that is indeed where the centre circle was. He did say over there as we came in was the main stand, and then the goals would have been there and there. So we are getting we're piecing together this puzzle, guys, with the help of the locals. So I need to be a bit careful because you shouldn't really film by a kids area, but as there's no kids in there, this right here, this circular paving is indeed where the centre circle was. Now we can kind of piece together this puzzle. You can kind of visualise the length of this grass. Obviously if you just look at this part of the grass, it looks like that was the pitch, that was the goal over there, but the goals are actually there and over there. So if this is the centre circle, so it's just weird. Like, people are going about their day like they're not walking around on a historic football ground. Maybe they're not as sad as me and they don't care. But I'm buzzing. I really am buzzing. I've kind of come here today, spur of the moment, guys. I do these football ground tours for fun, and it's really enjoyable sharing the experience with you. So obviously if I make mistakes along the way and I'm not giving you as much information as you'd hoped, drop a comment below. This is very much a community here on Rice Football Paradise. Over the past couple of weeks, again, we've done all kinds of stadium tours on current stadiums, current football grounds, but also we've looked at the old sites like Griffin Park, completely abandoned at the moment. I mentioned we went to Upton Park, the bowling ground. I'm going to be doing a couple more this week as well. Let me know in the comments below where you want me to go next. But I think we need to end this now with a few facts about Coventry, specifically playing right here at Highfield Road. I might get in the car because I'm bloody freezing. Let's go. So one of the most important things I've yet to mention about Highfield Road was the fact that Coventry were basically trailblazers, ahead of their time, because in the early 80s, this became the first English Football League stadium to become an all-seater stadium. Ahead of their time. I'm not sure if fans or all fans would have appreciated an all-seater stadium in the early 80s. People seem to love the terracing. Obviously, all clubs were forced to have all-seater stadiums off the back of the Hillsborough disaster and the Taylor report. But it didn't last long, them being an all-seater stadium, because in a match against Leeds, dirty Leeds, I always wondered why everyone hated Leeds, not just Man United fans. Leeds fans ripped out the bloody seats, so Coventry were kind of forced to go back to some terracing. But with that said, it just shows that it's a little bit sad, because as I was walking around with the camera, there were some young lads, probably between the age of 10 and 13. They said, "What you doing? You doing YouTube?" I said, "Yes, subscribe, like the video when you see it." I'm here filming what was a glorious stadium. They didn't even know that Coventry City played right here, and they bloody live here. I know they've got the excuse of the sign being nicked, but that isn't a good enough excuse, guys. It's really sad that a stadium, a football ground, not a stadium, a ground, stood here from 1899 all the way to 2005, over 100 years, like 106 years, and the fact that this generation, this young generation, that they were football fans. I think one of them said he was a Spurs fan. How do they not know that this was Highfield Road? It baffles me. It's not just here though. Everywhere we go, we seem to have the same sort of thing. Not every football fan should know everything, but when it's right here on your doorstep, I think Coventry need a new plaque. I think we should do a GoFundMe and get a new plaque over there. But as sad as that is, I've enjoyed today, guys. Apologies for having to finish this video in the car. It is incredibly cold and I need to make a move because the missus has just rang me and said your tea's ready. So in typical fashion, I'm gonna go. We've got loads more content coming to you this week. Let us know in the comments below where you want us to go next. We've got some good ones coming this week, but let us know where you want the channel to go next. It's an absolute pleasure doing these videos. Like the video if you like the video, and I'll see you in another video. There's some great videos on the screen right now. Head over there and I'll see you over there.